YouTube, just going live here on the gram, on the Instagram. Going live. Let's do some live TikToks. TikTok. All right. What's up, everybody? You know what? I need a tripod. Here we go. Pardon the mess. I'm moving. All right. Okay. Welcome to the coding party. Hey, everybody. I'm just getting a tripod here for TikTok because my phone's dying and I got to get it charged. What's this about? This is all about web development, app development. Feel free to ask questions about code, programming, anything on those subjects. We'll just talk about that today. My name is Mark, and what I do is I help people become paid developers. Specifically, I help everybody, but I specifically train people on iPhone development, Android development, and web development. I think those are three great starter careers you can get into. All right, going live on TikTok. Okay. Hey, what's up, November? So yeah, we're just talking about app development, programming, or whatever the questions you might have or want to talk about. What projects should I do to build up my resume before university? You should do freelance projects. That's the best way to get experience, is take on freelance projects in your chosen field. Do some simple ones at first, take more advanced ones later. Get those on your resume. It's going to be much easier to get a job. Where to start coding and make money, and how much will it take to learn? That's a good question. I always recommend people start off by doing YouTube, playing around with some free coding tutorials to make sure you like it, see what languages you might like, what career you might like. If you've decided what you want to be, you have lots of options available to you. Of course, the Fast Pass is getting a mentor with a training program, because that's going to just speed you along. They give you the curriculum and everything. That's what we do at DevSlopes. There's other boot camps as well too. That's devslopes.com/apply. We give you curriculum, we coach you, we train you, we help you get a job. Outside of that, you're just going to want to build projects. If you want to do it on your own, build projects all the time, do coding challenges, get your resume in order, find a mentor to help you, and just go for it. On average, if a person spends 2 to 3 hours per day coding and learning, 6 to 8 months into that, if you do it consistently, you can get your first job or paid projects. Probably more around 8 months. I do see 6 months though, depending on your motivation, ambition level, things like that. Starting jobs usually pay around 70 or 75,000 in the United States. It's different based on where you live in the world. Yeah. What should I do to build my resume before applying? Yeah, I think I answered that question. Hola en Mexico. What is up? Bienvenidos. JavaScript tutorial. If you want some free tutorials, just go on YouTube. There's some free JavaScript tutorials. Any real world examples for beginner freelance work? Everything seems above my pay grade. Well, if we're talking about web development, there's tons of little projects like, hey, help me get my website responsive. Help me to do a quick bug fix for my website. Responsive is when you take a desktop site and you make it work on phones. There's lots of projects for that. Those are easy ones. Sometimes it's just pure JavaScript. Hey, I need a quick fix in my website. Those are great starter projects for new people. What do you think about low code platforms like OutSystems? I don't think those are great. I've used them, I've seen them. Some people like them for prototyping, but I don't know of any success stories that use them personally. How do you get out of tutorial hell? I talk about this. Nick X Nickel. What I want you to do is go here onto YouTube, and I have a video called "Stop Watching Coding Tutorials." I talk all about that. Go watch that video after this meeting here. Are you the owner of DevSlopes? Yes. Freelancing on Fiverr? Yeah, you could do some Fiverr stuff. I've seen some people on there that are crushing it on Fiverr. Building like sales pages, things like that, landing pages, things of that nature. Okay, you can do. Fiverr it's its own model. You got to really figure it out, to have success with it. Okay. How was your day? My day is going great. I'm moving into a new house soon, so I've been packing. I injured my coding hand pulling out a trampoline. The bar went bam and slammed into my hand, hurt really bad. So I won't be able to code for a while. I'm just kidding. Hello, Mark from Greece. Hey, this is fun. Fun fact, I write books, and I was writing some chapters today, and the whole book has Greek character names, Greek mythology names, like everything is like comes from Greek origin. In fact, I've got it on my browser right now, Greek male and female names. I am beginner. What programming language should you learn first? Python or JavaScript's a good start. How can I communicate with the DevSlopes Academy? devslopes.com/apply. You can chat with us there. And if you want to work with us or learn more about the DevSlopes Academy. What do you think about when you are alone? Andre, I get up really early. Actually, I get up like at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning. And after doing some meditation and things like that, I focus on writing, actually. I think of, okay, so this is completely irrelevant, but I had a dream last night on the verge of a nightmare. And I wrote it down because it was so cool. But I had this dream that there's a little robot girl, like a robot you'd give to a kid as a present in the future, like artificial intelligence. And the girl was with a girl from a rich family, and she has some type of condition where she can't go outside in the sunlight. And so she got this artificial intelligence doll. It's with her for years, but the girl keeps getting crazier and more messed up and twisted. It turns eventually she's an old lady, and the house is all dilapidated, and she's just this messed up, twisted girl who just keeps collecting these artificial intelligence dolls. And all of a sudden, like the dolls like are fearing for their lives. Like this lady's become a straight out horror story. And, she's like doing messed up things to these dolls. And so this artificial intelligence doll and these other dolls try to get out of this horror house, which started as this family relationship. But now the old lady's messed up and crazy and like torturing these AI dolls. And so it's the story of these AI dolls that need to escape a twisted human. Anyway, that's what I thought about this morning after I woke up. So yeah. Is Dart similar to Swift in terms of syntax? My name is Michael. It's my business account. It can be. I think there's some similarities. That's a horrifying dream. Yeah, it was a cool story. I wrote it down. I'm going to write a little short story on it. Yeah. Hey, from India, what's up? Is C++ really worth learning? It is if you want to do a career in it, sure. Look, I get a lot of questions like this, like, what should I learn? And at the end of the day, it's about who do you want to be when you grow up, right? Like, what do you want to do? Let your career path determine what you learn. Don't just pick a language. Let your career path determine what you learn. And then it doesn't matter. You just learn the things that are in that path. Been loving your TikToks. Hey, thanks, Andres. Hey, Chip, what's up? I'm a developer, but feel still I'm not good enough. What should I do? You're going to feel that way for a long time. Go take on contract work, get projects, get paid. When you get paid, it is a huge confidence booster. I can't attest to that more. It's so important. I'm studying Python, how to become an app developer. I'm interested but don't have an idea. Yeah, sometimes it can be hard. Just, you can always build other people's ideas. You can, just figure things out. I didn't have ideas for a really long time. Okay, for a very long time, I did not have ideas as an app developer. Like I kept putting apps in the App Store, wanting to make $1 million, and nothing ever had success. And then I created DevSlopes, this company where I train people. And so that took me, that took me like 10 years of programming before I got there, before I finally figured something out. And then now I'm writing books, right? And I'm building an app for these books so people can listen to my books and all my content like on a weekly basis. Like on Audible, you have to publish these massive books, right? And they take a big cut. But what if I could create an app where every week I put out a new chapter, a new piece of an audiobook, let people listen as it's going along. And it doesn't exist out there, but I'm creating that and I'm passionate about it, right? So it's coming together. So here's my point. You just keep trying, keep going, and then something eventually clicks and you do something you're very passionate about. So that's what I would say. Just keep going, keep trying things. All right. Hey, that was my new Xbox Series X binging in the background. I just picked it up finally. It was so hard to obtain. How often do I use Lambda expressions in my code? I don't know. I don't know. What do I think about React? It's the world's most popular web framework. Definitely worth learning. Expert or niche JavaScript topics to learn? React. What do you think about React? Yeah. The horror story, share it on Instagram. I may do that. Is there a site where I can find all CSS exercises? I don't know. WW3 has lots of good information on it. React versus Dart. So React is a framework, Dart is a programming language, but you use Dart in terms of working with Flutter. If you're talking about React Native versus Flutter, it doesn't really matter. Choose what you want. If you already know JavaScript, maybe React Native is for you. But let me tell you what, Flutter is an amazing app development experience. And I have lots of experience with React Native, and I have lots of experience in app development. I'll tell you what, Flutter is amazing. I would love to build more apps with Flutter. Where am I from? I'm in Austin, Texas right now, but moving towards Houston pretty soon, in a few days. 10 years, yeah, 10 years before. Well, it was 10 years before I figured out an app idea or a business that really worked, right? Some people figure it out, other people don't. I didn't figure it out. Like some people just get it right out of the gate. Like what's his face? Evan Spiegel or whatever, the guy who created Snapchat. He had this idea, or technically he stole it from a friend, about messages that disappeared, and his parents had deep pockets and they got him partner investors. And, age 22, whatever, he made millions and millions of dollars. At age 22, I was making good money. I was doing freelance work. We brought in a lot of money, like $1 million our first year, just over that. But no, I wasn't even 22. That was like age 24. So like sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. It's just the way life is. I'm 18. I want to learn programming. Which language should I start with? You do know Java basics. Pick a career path first, things that you interest you, and then go backwards from there. Learn the things that you need for that career path. Is there any tutorial on Swift programming language for beginners? Shahazim, I've got some free Swift tutorials on YouTube. DevSlopes, Swift course, just search for that, I think. Once I learn Swift, do you think that Kotlin would be easier to learn? I mean, sure, or vice versa, but the Android platform, it's not easy. It's fairly difficult. So your problem won't be the language, it'll be the platform itself. How do you find a mentor in software programming? It's hard. Go to meetups like meetup.com. It's hard though. That's why, in fact, it's funny you asked that. That's why like my whole company exists. DevSlopes and our product, the DevSlopes Academy, it's our coaching program. The whole reason it exists is because the world doesn't have mentorship. Like we look at it like an apprenticeship. You come into the program and you're building projects from day one, and we're looking over your shoulder. We're grading your projects, and we don't kick you out. It's not like a normal boot camp where you get kicked out after 16 weeks. We keep working with you until you have success. Our teachers continually work with you. Our coaches, and myself included, continually work with you until you're paid. Mentorship's important. You got to know, is my code good enough? Is my resume good? Am I where I need to be? Am I learning the right things? Like, you need people to tell you those things. Taking an online course does not tell you those things. All right. The training, you can find training anywhere, but the mentorship is critical. It's hard to find. So my best advice to you, outside of looking into a program like DevSlopes Academy, is going to meetup.com, go to local meetups, find some friends, build some projects together, things like that. Okay. What's up, Mackie McJohnson on TikTok? Sorry, YouTube, I'm behind here. All right. Hey, lads, how is everyone? How is everyone, lads? Is that how I said? Hey, lads. Should I learn first language? JavaScript and Python are great languages to learn first. They're easy ones to start with. How long does it take to be able to make any app that I want for iOS? It depends. Beckzod02. When you're really motivated and want to build something, it tends to go real fast because like you're figuring things out super fast. My first app, my TikTok died. My first app, hold on, I'm gonna go live here again. So I've got TikTok for Android and it crashes all the time. Android just, nope. Android does not have what it takes here. Come on, Android. Come on, Android, you could do it. You could do it. Okay, does Google Maps live tracking API charge? I don't know how they charge. I don't honestly know. There we go. I'm not able to access your free course. Why? I don't know. We've got a free course. It's devslopes.com/free-course. What do you think of Flutter? Yeah, Flutter's amazing. Do you still think Xamarin is weak? I think Xamarin's pathetic. I've used it. It was awful. Here's my professional opinion. The only people who should ever use Xamarin is a team of C# developers who don't have any other developers on staff, and that's all you know. Then it makes a lot of sense to do it. It is not great. It is not amazing. It sucks so bad compared to everything else that's out there. We tried. We spent a good $10,000 or $15,000 prototyping an app with it to see if it was a good choice, and it was awful. It was awful compared to React Native. It was awful compared to native development. It was awful compared to Electron. Like, it was awful. It was awful. It was terrible awful. Did I say awful enough? Should I go with the M1 Air or M1 Pro for app development? Like, if you've got the money, go for the Pro. The M1 Air works too, though. Let's see. Is React Native and Flutter good for huge apps like Uber? Yeah, so it can work fine. Just keep in mind, you're gonna have to do extra work to get the same level of quality as the native app development. Also, keep in mind it will never perform as fast as native development. So, like, if you have lots of video compression, things like that, just be forewarned. Like, Instagram uses React Native, right? But there's tons of developers on it, and they've spent millions of dollars on this app. Like, they have the ability to do that. And the reason why they use React Native is so when they're building, they see instant changes, right? Otherwise, if you're building native, it can take an hour to compile code on an app that large, right? And so if you want to make a small UI change, it can be a huge build process. That's why they invented React Native, so they could develop faster. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to have a better experience, okay? You have to do more work to get the same thing you would get with native. Do I have a YouTube channel? Yeah, just DevSlopes YouTube. Yep. What laptop would you be best for heavy coding? Any suggestion? I don't know what heavy coding means, but it just depends on it really just depends on what languages and frameworks and tools you're using. Android and iPhone development needs a Mac. Android development needs a lot of RAM, like 8 gigabytes of RAM minimum, some type of i5 plus processor. If you're just doing web development, you could just use a $300 Windows computer. It really doesn't matter. How much time should I give to learn programming? So if you spend 6 to 8 months, okay, and 2 to 3 hours per day for those 6 to 8 months, you will have success as a programmer. You will become a paid developer. That's how long it takes. Is there strong reasons to learn tests and clean architecture because I can't find it anywhere? Carlos, there are many reasons. I probably don't have time to get into them today. But testing is really important. It's going to help your code not to break. What's a good example? If you wrote, keep it simple. If you wrote a function, right, to calculate the area of a triangle, and it all worked fine, and then you submit your code, and then weeks later, some other developers like, oh, I need to find a function that can calculate the area of a rectangle, and they find your function like, I don't think anyone's using this, and they go and they change the code, not knowing where else maybe it's being used. Like, your app could actually break and your functionality could break because there was no test run. Like, nobody really knows. Like, that code was written so long ago. And so if there had been unit tests in there, they would have failed when he changed it to a rectangle, and you'd know, oh, crud, I can't do this because my unit test failed. And as an organization, you would reject that code. You'd be like, hey, you can't make this code change. You broke these tests and we need that. So that's just one small contrived example. There's lots of reasons. Full stack web development. I'm stuck in CSS. It's been a year. Go take paid work. Go into Upwork.com, take paid projects. It'll give you the motivation and the kick you need. What do you use, void main or int main? Guys and gals, I'm not going to go into super technical stuff on these. Windows or Linux, which one do you prefer? Absolutely Linux, anything with a Unix subsystem. Windows has lots of problems when it comes to programming. Yes, you can do it, and it's great for, .NET developers, but honestly, you're gonna have lots of problems. Lots of tools that are built don't even work for Windows out of the box. Like, if you want to use Docker, it doesn't work out of the box. You have all kinds of configuration issues with Python, with Ruby, with everything under the sun. Your life will be bliss if you, as a developer, if you use a Unix subsystem. So that's Mac or Linux. If you go Windows, I'm just telling you, it's not as pleasant of an experience. Now, if you're a crack cocaine addict on Windows, like that's your drug, go for it. You'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I'm just saying, if you want a blissful development experience, Windows is not the best platform for that. There's specific reasons. Like, I'm not just making stuff up. I use Windows computers every day. I've got one right here. I've got a big monster gaming PC. I've run C++ on it and everything else. Like, I'll tell you, when I'm on a Mac, you just click a button and things work. When you plug in an Android phone, it just builds and works. On Windows, if you're building an Android app, it'll say, Android device missing, cannot detect. Install drivers, install drivers, install drivers, install drivers, install drivers, install drivers. You get my point here? All that nonsense comes with Windows. You don't get any of that stuff with Mac. On Linux, you've got to do configuration and lots of driver stuff, but not necessarily for development. But I'm just saying, get ready for that on Windows. That's what you're going to have. Let me put it this way: we teach programs, and in all of our programs on iPhone, Android, and web, most of our stuff we teach it on Mac, but we actually have to go and teach extra lessons on Windows. Why? Otherwise, people will get angry saying it doesn't work. Because on Mac, when you go to use Git or something else, it just works out of the box. On Windows, you've got to do 10 other steps. So in our programs, we have to make extra videos for Windows because stuff doesn't work. It doesn't. I'm just saying that's the way that it is. That's just the way that it is. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm behind on all the questions here. Dude, Rishi, I'm banning you. Sorry, I don't like annoying people, and you are annoying. You're blocked. Okay. Windows works fine when you are coding. We just had a whole talk about this. No. Like even Visual Studio Code, like on Windows, I got to do way more junk to get things set up and working. Yeah, not everyone can afford a Mac. That's fine. If you can't afford a Mac, go with Windows. But if you're asking me, should I get Windows, Mac, or Linux? I'm just going to tell you how it is. I'm going to tell you how it is. If you can't afford it, then use Windows. You just deal with the problems. I'm just telling you, I've taught 500,000 people, and I've made tons of courses. I use Windows for coding. I use Mac for coding. And I have to make way more tutorials and steps for Windows users than I do for Mac. Like on my Android program, for instance, we have in our free Android program, the one that we released for free, I haven't gone back and added the Windows steps in there. So every day I get emails, dear kind sir, this course doesn't work. This course doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? It's because you're on a Windows machine and you have to do 10 different steps that we didn't have to do on Mac. So yeah, that's why. What's my favorite language? I like the Swift programming language. It's been my favorite. My second favorite is C#. Hello from Dominican Republic. What is up? Code runs the same regardless of the platform. Yeah, it runs and compiles the same, Doug. Once you have all your tools and compilers set up, once you've gone on Windows through the 100 steps it takes to install that stuff, whereas on Mac, you just click one button, right? Like, try setting up a C++ compiler on Windows, whereas on Mac, it's already there. It's already there. It's already there. Right? Like, come on. I'm just obsessed with your hat. Yeah, thank you. They were for sale, but I've got the site down until I get it moved over to a cheaper website. Shopify is charging me like $100 a month just to have hats. So what do you think about Tailwind CSS? I don't know anything about it. I don't. Vue or React, those are both great web frameworks. They do the same thing. React is far more popular though. How can I learn C++? My favorite C++ program where you can go and learn it is actually Udacity. It's about $400 a month, I think, but their C++ program was phenomenal. I went through it. I thought it was great. It was phenomenal. User says, I skipped you. User, is data science and computer science double major good? I don't know anything about double majors. Let's see, is data science and computer science double major? I don't know. I mean, those are both great things to learn. There's opportunities in both of those. How can you teach programming in 30 days? So How can you learn it in 30 days? It can be, I mean, it's hard. You can't really learn it in 30 days, but you can make a lot of progress. That's why we do the 30-day code challenge at DevSlopes. So every 30 days we start it, and we give you a mission every single day. You do a coding challenge and data structures and algorithms. You get better and better and better. It gives you that kickstart. But 30 days is not enough to get a job or pay projects or things like that. You need more time. You need more experience. I'm interested in iOS development. Where should I start? Do some free YouTube tutorials on YouTube. The DevSlopes channel, so DevSlopes YouTube. We've got a free Swift tutorial, beginner Swift tutorial. Beginner iOS tutorial. You can look that up. That's a great place to start. How long have I been programming? I've been programming since 2000. Programming professionally, meaning getting paid for it, since 2007. So what is that, like 14 years or something like that? I don't know. Maybe 15 years. I don't know. Someone do the math. How to start my career as a remote front-end web developer and get paid, well paid. Well, start with freelance work if you want to be remote. That's the best way to getting cash in the door quickly. I wish I did this rather than learn Google Ads. You know, you can make some big money with marketing and Google Ads and things like that if you approach it the right way, if you come in as a high ticket, you know, type of business. But, you know, programming is a really solid foundation, you know. It's a really good thing to do, good place to be. Yeah. Why do people hate Vim so much? Vim is not easy to use. I mean, if you get good with it, that's great. But, you know, think of when it was invented so long ago, right? We've invented new tools and systems since then. Like, you know, why use it is the real question compared to, let's say, a user interface. Like, you just have to ask those questions. What do you think about using Xamarin for mobile? I swear I already hated on Xamarin for 20 minutes. I don't use Xamarin. It's not great at all. It's awful. It is awful, terrible. I've used it. My team has used it. It is awful, terrible. Unless your whole team only knows C# and that's all you know. If that's all you know, then yeah, then you want to build a mobile app or desktop app, whatever, sure, cross-platform, learn Xamarin, but it's not a delight. Like, stuff does not work out of the box. Errors upon errors upon errors. It's a nightmare, and it doesn't have all the tooling like that other platforms have. It's just, you know, which programming language job pays the best? They all pay pretty much very similar. At the end of the day, just pick something that you enjoy the most. Right now, I'm trying out your Unreal Engine tutorial, C++, building your first game. Awesome. I made that a couple years ago. Should I join your course if I want to have a career in data? No, we don't do any data analysis, data science stuff. What about PhoneGap? PhoneGap's awful. I'm surprised when I still hear that still exists. If you're really considering cross-platform, I'll make it real easy for you. React Native or Flutter and Dart. That's it. Those are the only two worth considering. What are my favorite web frameworks? Definitely React and Angular. I've used them both extensively. They're great. Is Flutter good or Kotlin? You can use either or. Just depends what you want to accomplish. Yeah. MySQL or Postgres, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to use, they're both going to do the same thing. You know, MySQL is more structured. It's, you know, structured query language. What do I think about SaaS, software as a service? Is it hard to get into as a beginner? I don't know what you mean hard to get into, but it's a business model, right? Software as a service is a business model. So you need to build a software that people want to pay for, right? Technically, like Netflix is a SaaS, right? It's software as a service, you know. I mean, there's more to it. There's content, but basically you need to have something that people are willing to pay monthly for, like Intercom, that chat messaging system. It's software as a service. ClickFunnels is software as a service. Drift is software as a service. You got to come up with an idea that people would need to pay for on a monthly basis, that they feel a lot of value in. I'm thinking about learning React or Angular. Which would be better to start? Any advice on that? It just depends on what you want to accomplish. Angular is really great because it does everything, right? It does your data services, your HTTP calls, it manages your view, and you know, some enterprise companies hire for that. It's great. React is very popular, world's most popular web framework, you know, if we don't talk about jQuery. There's lots of jobs and opportunities in that as well too. Just depends what you want to do. Just depends what you want to do. Yeah. What the heck is this stream? We're just talking about programming and app development. What's your opinion on Flutter for web? I haven't tried it on web, but I really, really, really want to use Flutter. I really wanted to use Flutter on my app I'm building, the Mark Wahlbeck app, but I didn't have anybody who knew Flutter. And I have a bunch of students who know native iOS and native Android. And so it made more sense for me to go that route. But I really love their approach because their approach is focus on the user experience. Let's build the experience that your customers need. We will handle the rest. We will handle the iPhone apps, the desktop apps. Don't worry about that junk. Just build an amazing experience. And I love that approach. It's about the user, about building things that your users need. And they're trying to make it a customer-focused experience, not just cross-platform or native iOS, native Android, or build once, deploy everywhere. It's more about build your experience, and we will take care of the rest for you. And I love that approach. The tooling's amazing. It's a delight to work with as a developer. So really great stuff there. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I have to wrap it up here. I do these things Monday through Friday at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm in Austin, Texas. If you want to become an app developer, iPhone developer, Android developer, or a web developer, and you want to work with me one-on-one and my team, you can join the DevSlopes Academy. That's devslopes.com/apply. We train you, we coach you, we help you through your code issues, we grade your projects, we help you build your resume, we help you get freelance projects, and we help you get a full-time job, and you never get kicked out. Guaranteed success. We will work with you until you're a paid developer, and you still have time this year. If you started right now, before the end of the year, you could be a paid developer from absolute scratch. I've helped many, 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 many people. So if that interests you, that's devslopes.com/apply. Thanks everyone for tuning in today, and we'll chat again.